Hey trainers and poke parents, Poke Dad here, along with the Dancing Bear at first base.
KK Shift went to it.
And we're getting a lot of positive feedback from our videos about the Poke Parent Open. And we just wanted to help out the community being the Poke Parents, and even help out the Poke Kids to help out the Poke Parents, to kind of put them in the right direction, right?
Right.
Sometimes us parents need that. We need a kid to get us going in the right direction, right?
Yeah, especially with your crazy ideas.
I do. I've been known to have one or two. Or daily. Hourly. But anywho, let's hop right into it.
Alright.
Alright, what are we hopping into?
Well, they're probably going to need the supplies for the tournament.
Okay. Right.
A nice play mat.
Well, they don't have to have that.
Oh.
These are Poke Parents. So, let's talk about the format a little bit and the challenges. Completely untested format. So, we were just in the dark as everybody else. Some of us more than others. So, our direction, thinking-wise, was most decks are going to struggle to get set up, so we want to kind of go aggressive, one energy attackers, and then just go all-out aggressive, right?
Right.
And so, instantly, we were thinking, what?
Fighting.
Fighting. You know, you got your Diancie and nice one energy attack cost and a lot of aggressive Pokemon. But what we found was...
It sets up really good.
Yeah, it sets up perfect every time.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't hit hard enough. You know?
That's hard to say.
And that is hard to say. I mean, but without strong energy and choice band and all that stuff, these little guys, they're not quite hitting just as hard as their bigger brothers. So, having played, several games with the fighting deck, and I don't think we won once with it, right?
No, we haven't.
You put up a beefy Pokemon that's able to absorb some hits, and meanwhile you set up your bench on some stage 2s, then the fighting just can't keep up with the damage output, right?
Right.
And that was something we actually stayed away from, right? Is the stage 2s.
At first we did stay away from them. We didn't think they were that good.
We didn't think it was going to be that good. We didn't think it was be that consistent. But then we started playing like a Marowak deck, which was more of a setup deck, but it was able to hit really hard numbers,
That's not a stage 2.
It's not a stage 2, but we were like, okay, if we're able to set up all these different stage 1s and have success, then why not just set up some really beefy stage 2s and have even more success, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at right now with our testing in the format, is stage 2s are looking to be the direction to go, right?
Yeah, and they definitely have shown their power in our testing.
So, let's talk about what cards each Poke Parent should have probably in their deck. I'm not saying every deck's going to have these cards, but for sure, it'd definitely be a good start if you're looking to build your own deck. So, let's jump right into it.
We pretty much in every deck have at least one Oranguru with the Instructability.
Oh, let me address that real quick. I know a lot of people are saying that they're hard to see. The cards are hard to see, and that's for two main reasons. Number one, they're kind of proxies.
Yeah.
But the reason why they're proxies is because after a long day at work and dealing with him, the last thing I want to do is go searching through tubs of Pokemon cards to find less playable stuff. And since, almost every deck runs a Rangaroo, obviously we don't have 20 Rangaroos, so they get proxied.
We also have a ton of decks, and that's pretty much what that.
So, yeah.
So, this is a
They're
card.
proxy. We'll do our best to, from now on in our videos, really highlight kind of what card is in play or whatever. And honestly, I may not know the name of it, so because it's not something that's normally played. So
kind of like stack of We don't even
Yeah.
know the name.
Staka. Alright, so Oranguru Instruct, that's your only really form of draw consistently. And he has a decent attack for 60 and then 20 more. So he's definitely good to have in all your decks. So, next.
And then here's a staple in the standard format and this format, Guzma.
You can run a maximum of 2. We would highly suggest running 2.
So you don't get something stuck in the active.
Right.
Good way to finish
Because
the
there
game.
are decks that's their strategy is to get something stuck in the active.
And then something that's kind of surprising about these next 2 cards is they're not really going to be that popular in the standard format. We haven't put them in any of our standard decks, but in this format, it's super good. And it's Liza and Tate.
This could be Judge if you want to disrupt your opponent. We don't really care for Judge.
No.
We like Liza Tate. Shuffle and draw 5, or it has the switching effect like Guzma. So it's just another way to get something out of the active because we don't have Floatstone. So we have to make do with the skateboard or just attach and retreat. So switching effects definitely strong in this format. You don't want to get something stuck in the active.
Yep. And then,
but you could play Judge if you want to play Judge. You could play Judge.
2 Cynthias.
2 Cynthias, and that's really hard to see because they're super proxied. Yeah, printer was about to run out of ink on some of these, but 2 Cynthia, they should be in every single deck. It's your best form of draw going into this PokeParent format. Definitely run 2.
And post rotation.
So, yep.
Then Lily, 1 or 2. They're super good, especially on your first turn. And it's also another great way to draw cards.
Some decks, yeah, run 2 of them. Especially the ones that run like we'll see later, 2 nest balls, 2 timer balls, stuff like that. Lily is turn 1, draw up to 8. So definitely could see you go into 2 of them, but for sure 1. Absolutely 1. 1 in every deck.
Also, most of the time in our decks, we run 5 draw supporters. That's just how we roll.
Yep, 5 draw supporters seems like a perfect number.
It works so good.
Yep.
Next is 2 nest balls.
Every deck should probably be playing this.
Yep.
I don't know why you wouldn't in something like this because you're only able to run like 2 Ultra Balls. So getting your Pokemon on the bench and getting going, pretty important. I would definitely recommend 2 nest balls.
Most of the decks run 2 Ultra Balls, or some run none. Very few run none.
There's some decks that probably wouldn't run Ultra Ball, but I mean,
spare the resources and stuff.
Yeah, because it is easy to deck out in this format. So you could stay away from Ultra Ball if you don't like to, but I like to get exactly what I want. So I like Ultra Ball. And if you're running Stage 2s, Ultra Balls, because there's not a good way to find the Stage 2s. So Ultra Ball is kind of needed if you're running the Stage 2s, I think.
Oops.
Wow. That's why he's the dancing bear.
Okay. Next.
Can't take him anywhere.
2 skateboards.
2 skateboards. That's other than Liza and Tate and Guzma, that's your best form of retreating, switching, other than just playing flat out switch. But it lowers the retreat cost by 1. So
And they can't be confused and paralyzed?
Confused and paralyzed. Because there are some of these lesser known cards, a lot of their attacks are confusion or paralyzed if you flip a heads on a coin or something like that, or poisoned or burned. So skateboard could definitely come in handy for those situations.
Next, Rangaroo with resource management.
This Oranguru and the other Oranguru, for sure. Because you can deck out very, very easy. I know there's concerns that, well, if I'm resource managing, then I'm not doing damage, or I'm going to give up a prize. Yeah, but, if you're able to, your deck's going to be pretty thin, hopefully, and if you can get back some key cards like some Guzmas or Eliza and Tate to switch, it could be very, very useful. What do you think?
I love the card. It's also really good for its second attack, 16 Confused. Especially if your opponent doesn't have an escape board, it's going to be a challenge to get to deal with confusion.
And that's kind of your only way to get back energies, folks. There's no puzzles of times. There's no super rod. So I mean, if you need energies, there's fisherman, which you can get back 4 in the discard. But wouldn't it be nice to get back a couple energies and a Guzma or something? So we feel like Orangaroo's a staple in every deck, right?
Yeah.
So
next, one Deoxys.
This is your tech. It's from the new Celestial Storm. I don't know if you can see that too good. I'll try. It has the same attack as the old Mewtwo with evolutions from Evolution set. I won't go into too much detail for the PokeParents, but it does 20 plus 20 more for each energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon. So while DC is not in this format, 2 attachments isn't that bad, and then you're hitting some of the more popular stuff because the Malamar variants are really good, right?
Yeah.
The Psychic variants are really good in this format, so Deoxys is pretty important if you feel like you might see a lot of Malamar, which most of our decks, there's some decks that, like the metal decks, that already resist Psychic, so we kind of shy away from it. But if we don't resist Psychic, then yeah, Deoxys is a really good answer for it.
Yeah.
All right.
Next, Rescue Stretcher.
If you don't want to play a Orangaroo Resource Management, then Rescue Stretcher is the way to go. But just know that Rescue Stretcher is not going to get back those energies. So it's good. It's good in conjunction with a Orangaroo. So absolutely.
Next, these two are kind of only couple decks, but they work really good in the couple decks that they're in. Rare Candies.
If you're playing Stage 2, you'd be surprised how much of the time you'd get your Stage 2 into play on turn 2, right?
Yeah.
It happens more often than not. So there's really no reason not to play Rare Candy. Most of the decks, the Stage 2 decks, there's going to be room. So don't feel like there won't be. There's room. Because your main attacker most of the time is the Stage 2 anyways. So you're running a 2-2-2 line of your main win condition. And then, 2 Orangaroos. So you're only at 8. And then you could have 2 alternate attackers. So that's only 10 Pokemon spots. So there's room. There's definitely room for 2 Rare Candies.
Next, 2 Timer Balls.
Good in your Stage 1 decks. I like it in the Stage 1s. We've been having some success with a Alolan deck that's all like Stage 1s. And Timer Ball works really well with it. It works well in the fighting deck to get the Crabominals or Donphan, stuff like that. So, Timer Ball's good. Any other staples that most decks would use that you can think of? Or is this about it?
No, this is pretty much about it.
Okay, so here's the staples. Almost every deck. This is a really good starting point if you're looking to build your own deck.
I say Deoxys is probably one of the most, maybe not a staple, but
it's a good tech if you worried about the Malamar. Now let's get into some strategies real quick. We're not going to go in a lot of detail because the Poke kids can cover that for us parents. So we're just going to quickly go, and these are just ideas that we've had and that we've tested and had some success with, or maybe it's been mediocre, but maybe you could get the list dialed in correctly.
We forgot the Trash Lance Noibat.
Trash Lance, or the item lock one, the Shinx and Luxray.
It's the same one. The
what?
Shinx, Noibat, and Garbodor.
Don't mess with that. You can do what you want, but I didn't like it.
Alright, first Archetype, Empoleon.
You can definitely build a deck. And there's a metal one, too.
Water and metal.
There's a water and a metal. Both solid choices. I like it.
Depending on which backup attackers you want to use.
Yeah, I mean, if you're worried about lightning decks, then play the metal. If you're worried about psychic decks, then or fire decks, which props to you if you find a fire Pokemon, because we haven't been able to. There's certain decks, colors that we have not had any success with.
Fairy, fire.
I think the grass is going to be fine with the Venusaur. We haven't tested the Venusaur yet, but we'll get to that. He doesn't think so, but I do. I think it'll be alright.
Next, Magnezone. Like Frying Pan. And...
So, for the PokeParents, Magnetic Circuit has a special ability. It lets you attach as many metal from your hand as possible. So, pretty good. You can build strategy around the Magnezone and Empoleons. So, continuing on.
Or you can do the Metagross with Frying Pan and Steven's Decision.
Okay, so you're starting to see a pattern here. There's a lot of options with the metal typing. Empoleon, Magnezone, Metagross. Metagross has the ability where you don't lose your turn if you play Steven's Decision. Well, Steven's Decision says grab any 3 cards from your deck. Your turn ends. But if you have Metagross in the active, your turn does not end. So you can grab 3 any card and keep on trucking. So a lot of good options with metal. Keep that in mind.
Alright. The one fire Pokemon that we could actually find that was pretty decent. Alolan Marowak with Alolan Exeggutor.
Now, we were just looking through. We've always been trying to figure out a way to use Marowak. And I think this is the way to use it, right?
Yeah.
This format is pretty good for Marowak. Anytime you can accelerate energy in something like this where inherently you're just going to attach one energy, just make some other plays and then pass the turn, right? So if you can pull out 2 energies plus a 3rd attachment for the turn, I mean, that's super strong, right?
Yeah.
So we had this concept of use all the Alolans because he has the attack Alolan Club, which does 20 more for each Alolan on your bench. And then Alolan Exeggutor, he has super high HP, 160s, and one grass, he's able to hit really hard. So, it's kind of hard. There we go. So, you can make Alolan, and there's water, there's dark, there's all sorts of typings that you could use. We like the water Alolan Sandshoe. Mm-hmm. We like the Alolan Vulpix to grab any Pokemon out. So, alright.
The Genesect Venusaur.
I think it could be good. We haven't tested it yet. Yeah, we built it. Well, PokeSun built it while I was at work. I think it's gonna be fine. Each grass. He's always negative. He's always like, it's not gonna work, Dad. It's not gonna work, Dad.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'm always like, no, it'll work. And if I have to spend the rest of my life making it work, I'll make it work.
Maybe a lot.
Well,
there will be a lot of new sets.
I might spend like an hour to see if I can make it work, and then I'll give up. But I think it'll be fun. This is Grass's last chance, folks, because I've tried to build 3 different grass decks, and I don't think I've won a single game. But I'm not giving up. This is the one. 3rd time's charm.
Is it though?
Oh yeah.
Malamar, Lunala.
Any Malamar plus X is gonna be good. There's no way around it. It's yeah. Go ahead, Dancing Bear. What you got for Malamar?
Malamar's super good. I like it a lot. I think it's fun to play.
It's really good in this format.
I wish you could get more than 2 Malamars. If you prize one, then it kind of hurts.
That's why we've been kind of using the Shining Lugia. Because
Yeah.
it does 60, and if it has an ability, it does 60 more. So it kind of deals with the Malamar fairly easy, and it's 130. So it can absorb a shot from Mewtwo or something.
Can't really absorb a shot from 130.
No, it can absorb a shot. Lunala's been really good. Stage 2. So stage 1, Malamar. Stage 2, Lunala. It's been really good testing.
Then
Another Malamar variant.
Malamar with Miss Magius and Mewtwo, and the Lunala Prism Star, which works really good.
Yeah, I mean, Malamar's really good, folks.
It's always been good.
You better be ready to play against it because you will see it for sure. You got the stadium that gives you free retreat. So, I mean, that's an inherent major advantage. You don't have to play like the Liza and Tates and depend on Guzmas and depend on switches or escape boards. You can just attach an energy and get whatever out of the active. So, Malamar decks are going to be really good. They are really good. Alright, next.
Regirock with Crabominable and Diancie Prism Star.
This is kind of what we first started out with. What we were talking about is we figured, oh man, we could play Regirock, throw a tool on him like an escape board, and all of a sudden you're doing 20 plus 20 more, plus the Diancie 60. Wow, just 60, 60, 60, 60. Well, that's not enough, especially when you got like Metagross that has the healing, or Executor, who it's for weakness. I mean, fighting's going to take a back seat to this. It's not as good as it is in regular standard or expanded. So,
yeah,
I would be cautious if you're thinking fighting. And if you're thinking, well, I'll just set up before my opponent and hopefully my opponent doesn't set up well. If they use kind of the staples and the formula we've kind of laid out, they're going to get set up. So
60% of the time it sets up near every time.
60% of the time it works every time. All right, last strategy.
This one we haven't tested.
We haven't
yet.
tested. Untested.
Alright, but we have Raikou.
But we like it.
We have Xurkitree. We have Magnezone.
Magnezone.
And we have Coco.
Mainly the Coco's for his second attack for 100. But Magnezone, same as the Metal, Magnetic Circuit. We're going to throw a lot of energy on this guy. I like Xurkitree as a second attacker. They are all weak to fighting is my concern. But, I mean, this is probably the only deck the fighting deck beats, right?
I don't even know if that's an auto win.
Yeah, it would be questionable. We haven't tested it yet. It's on the burner. It's on a low boil, low simmer. Should be ready maybe towards the end of the week.
Yeah.
It'll be ready to take out of the crock pot. That's all. So look forward to that. But it's definitely an idea that we've been tossing around. Stage 2s are just looking to be really strong in this format. So, all right. Any closing thoughts?
No, I don't have any.
Man, a few words. Well,
Good luck.
good luck.
That's my closing.
Good luck dealing with this video and him. All right. That's all we got. Running out of stuff to say. So, keep testing, have fun, and leave comments or suggestions, ideas that, for videos. And we will make a video on some deck lists, just so some Poke parents have a better idea of what an actual deck consists of. But hopefully this gets you in the right direction, or at least nudges you towards the right direction. You know, in the words of Morpheus, I can only show you the door.
You know, when you said, we'll show you some decks, I thought you meant, I'll show you a deck. Like, you'll show you the good deck.
No.
Oh.
I'm just showing you the door. It's up to you to walk through. Okay, Neil? Alright. And with that, so I mean, he meant a few words. So, be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.
Or parents.
Or Poke parents.
Party on PokeParents.
All of the above.
San Dimas High School football rules.